We are here at the New York City Comic Con with the writer of the upcoming Wonder Woman animated premiere, Michael Jelenic. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Okay, so first question off the bat. Writing this movie, having all the history of Wonder Woman and all the writers that have worked on it, did you find it easier having all that to draw on, or tougher having to live up to it?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's like the living up to it is the sort of the task for any of these DVDs that we're doing. There's so much, as you say, to draw from, and there's so much controversy as far as like what is Wonder Woman. Which version of Wonder Woman do we draw from, and do we consider to be the one that everybody accepts? And there's quite a bit of debate, over that. So mostly I make the choices that sort of best suit like the motivation of the character and the storyline, and try to get as much of the iconic parts of her that many people know and love about her, the lasso of truth, the contest, the invisible jet, and work that in.
And now we spoke to Lauren earlier and asked her, since this is like the first time Wonder Woman's had any type of feature film, the pressure was a little bit more on this perhaps, because even though it's an animated, she still hasn't had a live action like all the other big two, Superman and Batman. So I mean, even though you guys are going direct to DVD, I mean, this is still a pretty big flick,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like the biggest pressure for me in that regard is making her like showing that she's how viable of a character that she is. Like you say, there hasn't been a big live action movie, and we haven't seen a TV series since the 70s. So it's like I felt the responsibility of creating a character with Lauren and Bruce that appeals to a pretty broad audience, that shows that when she has a life beyond this DVD, we should see her in the movies, we should see her on TV. So hopefully we accomplish that. We'll find out shortly.
Now, when you wrote the script and everything was done, and then they sent it out to all the actors to look at and say, all right, now we're in. Did you find yourself wanting to go back in and be like, oh, now that this guy's in there, I gotta like make him say this, or now that this girl's in there, I want her to have this line?
No, not really. But I will say that, and the casting of Nathan Fillion, like in particular for the character that I wrote, was like, it didn't even occur to me, but like once he was cast, it's like that's exactly the guy who I wrote this one for. Like, so in his regard, everybody else, like their performances, once they did him, it was like really a wonderful surprise to see what each of them brought to the character, because I had no really preconceived notions of what they were going to do. Carrie Russell is just great. She brings like sort of a naive Wonder Woman who's still strong, and you totally buy it.
Yeah, it's one of the things too. When they cast her, I was like, I believe in her voice, but to see her as an animated Wonder Woman, it makes so much more sense than if they would actually cast her as a live action one. Not that she couldn't pull it off, but she's
very
small.
Talented.
She's very talented, but very small.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't the first time that you've written, one of the bigger heroes. You've written some other stuff for DC. Is there something that is your dream project right now that you're just dying so that you hope they let you write?
Not in particular. I was telling some other people that all these characters, most of the time they're sort of brought to me, and I'm not saying like, oh, I want to do Batman the Brave and the Bold. Someone will come up to me and say, hey, do you want to do a take on Batman the Brave and the Bold? And then usually my job is to find something that's interesting about this particular character. And I also worked on like the Batman, which was a different Batman. So, any character they sort of bring to me, like whether it's Wonder Woman or Batman or a legion of superheroes, like I'm always finding something interesting about them. So I'm hoping the next character they sort of bring to me is somebody like completely obscure and do the Buona Beast TV or something like that.
Well, I did have one episode on the show. Right?
Yes, and he'll be back. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
We haven't done nearly weird enough stuff with him yet. So.
Okay, and last thing, as as a guy getting to write this script, did you feel any particular way about like, what, I have to treat this character extra because she's such a strong female lead when writing this movie?
I mean, honestly, I try to treat any character with that same respect. Batman. I want the fans to really like the character, so there is a little extra something. The fact that she is a sort of a female character, and that is a challenge. You want to make sure that at the end of the movie, when someone watches it, in their mind, Wonder Woman is she's definitely part of the big three of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. That she deserves her. So that's like, I wanted to make sure when people watched it, they saw her in that trinity.
All right, great. Well, there you have it, folks. Writer Michael Jelenic. I'm sorry.
Either one.
Ah, man, I screwed it up.